Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mischief TV. For those of you coming back, welcome. For those of you who are just now tuning in, this is our 212 mini drag cart that we got in the last episode. Make sure you guys go check it out. In this video, we are going to work on making this a bit faster, making it a bit better. The throttle cable was a bit slack, so we're going to dive straight into it. I'm going to stop yapping. Let's do it. Diving straight into it, this is the first thing we're going to tackle is the throttle cable. You can see the brake. Nice and solid. Throttle, all sorts of wiggly. So if you can see, it looks like they put a brake line on the outside of the throttle cable when they ran it up here. There's already a bit extra, but see? And then if I keep the camera here, see, we only opened to about half throttle instead of full throttle. So we're going to work on, kind of just leave this alone, maybe put a spring on it up here to keep it in where it needs to go. But the biggest part is going to be back here. So I'm going to work on removing the air filter here, the air filter housing. You can see there's two Phillips screws. Maybe there's just one. Yeah, it looks like there's just one Phillips screw here. Take that off. This should come off. And then we'll be able to get to that better. So you can see here that I've got the air filter taken off, kind of got the hoses rerouted for a second. We can clearly see the throttle cable, and it is clearly a brake line. So all I think I'm going to do is I'm going to loosen this up, get this cable completely out of here, bend it so it runs straight, like right here, and then try to figure out some side of nice bend, because I don't like this, and I feel like it can be done a little bit better. And if you look, this is a lot easier to see how much the pedal is actually activating with the throttle. So I'm going to go ahead and try to work on that too. So we're going to disconnect the throttle cable completely and go from there. Show you guys how much extra there is on here. I've kind of got it bent to a little shape that I kind of am happy with. You know, it's going to run kind of in front of that, which is okay. I might try to tuck it up in here a little bit, but still, look at how much extra there is. So I'm going to work on cutting this down. I will leave the cable so you guys can see how much cable there is, but I'm going to try to cut the actual brake line, which is going to be fun. I've used some zip ties to kind of hold it in place here, and I like this a lot better instead of coming all the way out here and bending like it was. You can see the amount of cable we have extra too. I told you I'd leave it. I cut off a pretty decent chunk of brake line, so we're probably going to cut off that much cable. You can see where it would line up here, right there. So probably going to cut it about here and see how well it does. Here's what we've got. I've ended up getting a bit of cable out of here, started to get the pedal a little bit tighter. I've taken off the springs. I still got to get a little bit of metal off. He had up here, put a bigger heavy duty one on like we had on the snowmobile. You know, it's starting to clean up a little bit, but you see we get full throttle here, right? And if I can do it without knocking everything over, we're starting to get full throttle up there. So here in a few minutes, we'll start it, we'll check it out. But now that we're calling the throttle cable done, we're going to move in and tackle the carburetor. We're just gonna try to open it up a little bit. So one there, one here. Yeah, that works. And then this whole assembly just kind of crudely pops off. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this off and we'll see you in a second. That is a dirty carb. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cleaning this up. This is pretty bad, but the inside of it looks okay. If I choke it open here, it actually looks pretty good inside there. So we're gonna go ahead and clean up the exterior, maybe try to get some sort of air filter for it. I'm actually kind of inclined to do so, and kind of just go from there once we have everything clean. Might just kind of do a once over and everything, but I'm really want to get this carb cleaned up. That looks a lot better. I went ahead and sprayed it down with some WD-40, cleaned it off, so I sprayed it down again, and we're gonna let it set, and it honestly isn't turning out too bad. So while it sets some more, we're going to, oh no, what you doing? Taking the exhaust off? Yep, this thing has to go. So, be a wrench, via ratchet. It's coming off. There's one. And I'm gonna try to get the other one off, and then I will explain why here in a few minutes. Sidetracking from over here, we're gonna move on. You can see I've got the gas tank unbolted, and that's because we're going to remove the governor spring right here, and we're going to attach it in a way that bypasses the governor. I've already kind of done it with the spring here, but we'll get it so it's actually done without bypassing it internally, because I don't really want to do that. So we're gonna take this spring out here, and then we will end up looping it to this hole. I'm not even drilling a new one, and then looping it to the gas tank bolt here, but I have to be able to lift the gas tank up to get to it. So I'm gonna go ahead and re-loop it, and I will show you that. Took me literally 30 seconds. It loops under here into right here, like I said. So we're gonna try looping it in to that one. Then we go over everything here. Notice I'm wearing one glove and not two. That's because I got a camera in the other hand, and it's hard to push all the buttons when I'm wearing bulky gloves. But we're gonna get it pulled tight, wrap it around the bolt. That's all I'm doing. There it is, hooked to the mounting bolt. You can see we follow it all the way back and right there. So I'm gonna get the gas tank mounted back in, and we'll move on back here.
12 seconds later.
Wow, Hunter, that looks different. That's because the setup that we had before didn't work at all, actually. So I had to completely redo it. We took the spring that was over here that we had looped, took it to hold the governor in place, relocated our spring on the throttle arm here, and took the little metal rod, bent it, and shoved it straight in here. It's pretty simple. You drill a hole. I just reused the other hole, and if you see, we have good throttle, and the governor kind of stays open. So hopefully that solves that. But as you can see over here, we got a bunch of new parts, and that's exactly what we're gonna put on. We'll start here with this Amazon air filter. You can see it didn't come the prettiest, but it is what it is. Put a sock over it or something to make it look prettier. Needed a bigger air filter. We got the piece for it. We also got the PCV, the valve cover filter that'll go on there. Came with a hose. We got a kill switch and exhaust with heat wrap we'll get to later. But yeah, let's start with this. You see we got the piece to go on it, and that kind of just like so. And then they didn't give us any bolts, but it's a good thing I kept the old ones here. We'll take the old nuts that we're holding the other carburetor on, and we'll tighten them down, one here, one here, like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and mount the air filter, get it nice and right there, and then the hose clamp honestly sits nice and pretty right there. So we'll go ahead and get it tightened. That looks pretty nice. I wish it had come black, but can't do much about that now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and change the valve cover hose, pop the old one off, toss it out of the way, grab your new one. We left the filter off of it for a minute. We just get this crammed down in here. You can see it just kind of fits tight. So get it crammed down in here, like so. And then we take our breather, keep the hose clamp on it, and it should just, yep. And then I will get this hose clamp nice and tightened down, and then we will figure out how to get it somewhere pretty. There we go. So this is definitely not how you're supposed to mount it, but I used the mounting bracket that came with it onto the other screw for the throttle cable. You can see we got one here. We also have another one on these motors right here. I just hooked it on there, zip tied it on, nice and sturdy. I also realized that was a clear cover, and I peeled it off and cleaned that chrome up, and woo, you can see the reflection in that. So that turned out really nice. Happier with that than I was. So we're gonna not touch the kill switch because I don't want to do wiring yet. We're gonna do the exhaust. We're gonna get it mounted up, probably save the heat wrap, because the way this is set up, we don't exactly need a heat wrapped exhaust. That's more for a mini bike, but still, we'll work on this motor. So let's get the exhaust put on. It'll be super easy. You can see here it came with the new gasket and new bolts, but we're not gonna use these because I have some from the old projects. I believe I got these for the snowmobile. Didn't end up using them. It's an exhaust flange and nuts that work with the pre-existing studs, so I don't have to remove the studs. So make this super easy. We'll just take the exhaust on there, obviously change the flange out, but mount right up. You can see this one here is pretty shot though. It's just old, it's deteriorated. It's pretty thin, so toss that one to the side. Grab our new one here, Make sure we line it up exactly the way the hole is here. Oh, tight fit. Beautiful. And then we'll take our exhaust. And then we'll take our mounting nuts, one here and one here. I'm not too worried about the air filter coming off, but the exhaust, I am a little bit. So we're gonna hit it with some red thread lock right on the inside of those nuts before I zip them on. And I will see you guys after we have it mounted. And there we go. It's starting to come together real nice. You guys are starting to see what I got in mind for this thing. Hell yeah. So, next up is the kill switch, I suppose. We're gonna mount it real simply. Right there, that way you can reach behind. Big button is on, little button's off. Found an easy one that we could remember. Mount it up right here, get the wires run to the kill switch here. Honestly, I might have enough wire on this so I don't have to pinch any or splice any of my own, which will be nice. So I'm going to take these two Phillips out, mount it up where we need it to go, and we will go from there. We've got it mounted up with zip ties here, nice and sturdy, not going anywhere. You see I can flip it, shake this shit out of it. It just wiggles back and forth, not up and down. So we've got our wires here. I've also unplugged everything from the Predator. It's pretty easy to do this. You take the wire with the two wires. Normally you have a red and black, but I have a green and black. I'll take the black one. I believe it's the green one in this case. The green one is power out, so it would be ground out. So let's grab the green one, plug it into here, like so. And then we'll take this one and we'll ground it out. We'll put a ring terminal on it, we'll ground it out right there. And you can see it's grounded nice and good there. All the wires are tucked up out of the way, running the same length as the throttle cable, so hopefully no rock kicks up and slices through all of that. I would be kind of impressed. So we're gonna deal with these wires now. I have some heat shrink and some tape. We're gonna wrap them up, make sure none of them are touching. We're gonna leave the oil sensor unplugged. That way, in case we go up a hill or something, the oil level stops reading correctly, the engine doesn't shut off and die on us. It's the only reason we're doing this. I would leave it, honestly, for the tip feature, but we are literally like 6 inches off the ground when you're riding it, so it's not at all worth it to keep it. So we're gonna go ahead and tape them off, heat shrink around them to keep them nice and tight, and I will show you that when it's done. There they are, all nice and tucked out of the way. And everything else engine-wise is pretty much ready to go. You'll notice maybe some things have changed in here a little bit, like the gas tank is now mounted, and that's because it's been a little bit since I recorded that last clip. I'm sorry. We had to go do some things like go help Tristan. Oh, sweet times. Just a coolant line though, so we'll get it patched back on, filled back up. But we're on the side of the road. Here comes the school bus, so this will be fun. But it's all right. We got the hose back on. So Tristan made the bird home. The bird is running and driving once more. The hose just popped off. There's a little bit of air in the lines. We got to bleed out still. You know it ain't done till we add the final finishing touch here. So now that we've got our marker on it, as we have on all of our fun toys, let's move back to the rear end of the motor here. We're not going to end up using it. Because I don't have a way to pull vacuum from the Predator yet. Got to figure out some way to do that. We might make a video on that because nobody that I found has actually put a video out on how to set up one of these two-stroke gas tanks on a Predator engine. So that might be its own video. But as for this motor being ready to drive, we're there. So I'm going to set you guys up and we'll go to start and make sure I have everything right. All right, you guys are right there. Hello, I'm over here, right here. The kill switch is right here behind the tire. You guys can't see it, but it's all mounted up and should be wired in correctly. So let's turn it on. Turn this kill switch on right here. Then we need to choke it. Like so, I believe. Shoot, I can't even remember. Like that, I think. Fuel on. And let's hope. Grab our starting fluid here, give it a shot. Honestly might need it. It's still pretty cold. It's like 25 out here. When we go outside, I'm gonna get more dressed, trust. But let's see if she starts now. Oh, I'm starting to move it. Jack stands now. That is good. I guess I really didn't want to start. I broke it. Also let it be known that I'm not a dumbass. I just had this one flipped also, so it was canceling each other out. So, gonna have to order one of those.
One debt to society later.
Alright, 2 days later. Today is the day the video normally goes out. Today is Tuesday. Sorry guys, it's gonna come out tomorrow. Christmas Eve. It's like my Christmas present to you guys. Man, I can't even get this open. The video was supposed to come out today, but then I broke the pull cord trying to start it. And then we had to order some new ones from Amazon. So I got 3 of them, because why would we only just get one? Plus, it was cheaper to get 3 of them than it was to order one. It was like the same price. I don't understand that. Thankful for 2-day shipping, because without this, you guys wouldn't have seen this video until like 2 weeks, until like 2026 at least. Yeah, it's crazy to think the new year's coming so soon. We've done a lot this year. Next week's video, I think, is going to be a fun one. We got just a little bit planned, so make sure you guys stay tuned for that. But looks like, and I've never done one of these before, we can take the centerpiece out here and kind of pull the bearing out, and we should be able to get to the string a little bit better and be able to pull it out and just tie a new one in. At least I think that's what we have to do. I've got it apart, and things I'm noticing is my first time ever doing this. I know I just said that, but this slides out. Oh. Cool. Good to know. See, I'm still learning. There's a spring on the bottom of here, and then it goes on there like that. And then this is a spring bolt cap assembly. Essentially, it works like a clutch, I suppose. Just kind of nice. Get it on there nice and tight. Just make sure you line it up. It also looks like there's little greased up pads in here, so make sure you keep those where they go. But yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be too hard to change the string out. Just unwrap it, pop it out, tie a new one in. So I will see you guys when I have that done. I'm not sure if these bearings are omnidirectional, but we're not going to find out. So this is how I'm going to remember which way the rope goes. You can see the way it came already. This white one follows the same loop around. So I'm going to get this pulled out, get the white one run through it, and we'll see you guys in a few minutes. Keep in mind, if you ever have to do it, you have to feed it through this outside plate first, then tie it off in here, then loop it around. But got it all nice and in there, so we'll go ahead and take our center cap, line it back up, and then I believe it sits like that. Nope, like that. Yep, there we go. So get it seated back on, and we will put it back on the cart. Had to trim about 3 inches off of it, but I got it burnt, retied. Everything looks nice, and I can try to see how it's kind of coiling back. I'll show you guys better when it's on the cart, but my thoughts with the cart here is we'll take it, instead of having it right here, kind of annoying, we're gonna turn it and have it like this, so it's straight up and down. Hook this over here, and hopefully reduces the chance of the fraying or it breaking happening again. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these back in it, and let's cross our fingers that I did this right.
Lot of boring math later.
It's a little sad and limpy. I guess I could have went just a tad shorter, but that's it, so whatever. If I care too much, I'll get like a temporary big zip tie or something we can loop it through. But we're gonna try to start it now because I wanna ride it. We got about half an hour before it's dark, so that's our time limit. Let's go. You're right there again. Let's go choke on. Fuel on. Kill switch. On. On. Fingers crossed, bro. I mean... Whew.
Five minutes later.
There she is. Alive and very cold. As I ended it, it died out. So let's oh buddy. Alright, I'm gonna let her warm up for about 5-10 minutes. We'll get her down onto the ground and let's get her outside. Alright. So we let it warm up. We took it around a couple blocks over there in the concrete pad. Feels pretty good. Still bottoms out a little bit. So we brought it out to the road and we're going to road test it. So Austin is recording. I'm going to go test it. Let's go. Alright guys, that was fun. Austin's over there being a bum. But he helped me carry it over to the road and back, or push it, but either way, it's heavy. I'm a little bit out of breath, but it's very fun. It rips really good, so I call it a success. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you in the next one. Merry Christmas. Enjoy your holiday. See you guys later.